Do you have imposter syndrome? Movie news, and would you prefer a hamburger or a hot dog?
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Hello. It is actually light out already here at 5:53 in the morning. It is Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. Day 248 of Gotta Get on Ellen. I don't know about where you live, but the wind here has been insane. We have had nonstop wind for the last 2 days. They promised that the wind would taper off last night. That's what they said. Wind's not going to be as bad in the afternoon as it was in the morning, and then it's going to start to taper off. I get up this morning, take a step outside, still just as strong as ever. I don't even have to step outside, honestly, because you can hear it all throughout the house. It's insane. I walked outside. I'm like, what the? It's supposed to stop. Now they're saying it's going to diminish throughout the day today. Well, I don't know. Do I believe them? That's what they said yesterday. They're liars. They're big liars. The wind just ruins everything around here. It really does. It's just, we're talking like 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. Not that it's scaring me or, making me that concerned. We've certainly dealt with higher winds than that in the past, but you can't do anything. You can't go outside. It's awful. It's awful. Speaking of awful, some of the businesses are starting to come tumbling down. This is not even a small business. So think about all the small businesses that are not able to survive this time right now. Pier 1 Imports has announced they are going out of business. Honestly, I can't believe they're still in business. I never see anybody at that store. Their prices are outrageous. I have bought a few things at Pier 1 Imports. They have some really cool stuff, but they're very pricey. And I guess the high prices is the reason that they can get by with not that many people in their store. But every single time I go in that store or drive past that store, there's like hardly anybody ever in there. So I'm surprised it took this long, but no more Pier 1 Imports. I guess typically they would have a big going out of business sale, but I don't think you're allowed to do that right now. So I'm not sure what is going to happen. Maybe they'll have a going out of business sale online. You can have it shipped to you or pick it up curbside. I'm not sure, but we'll keep an eye out. Some good news if you are a fan of Legally Blonde. You remember Legally Blonde. It's the movie that made Reese Witherspoon. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's just the cutest movie. It really is. Not too much of a fan of Legally Blonde 2, but there is a third one coming out. Certainly something worth seeing at some point. I don't know how long it's going to be. It is being written by Mindy Kaling. Remember Mindy from The Office? She's made quite a name for herself in this business, so I think that will be good. Don't know how long it will take to be written and filmed and all of that type of stuff, but definitely something that I will check out at some point. May not necessarily go to the theater if there's ever movies again in the theater, but I will for sure check out Legally Blonde 3 at some point. It is almost Memorial Day weekend. How can that be? So I wanted to do some fun stuff, talk about some of your favorite foods. I had told my husband we're going to have hamburgers and hot dogs every day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm kidding. Just 2 days will be enough. We can have something else that third day. But I wanted to know from you, if you have your choice, what would you pick? Hamburgers or hot dogs? Overwhelming choice, hamburgers. Most people are choosing to have a burger over a dog. I have recently developed a love for hot dogs. I don't know what it is. I actually do think I know what it is. Joe's cousin had come to visit one time with her brood. I think there was 3 or 4 kids that we had here. And so she brought food to cook, which I thought was very nice. I thought that was very thoughtful of her. We certainly had food for them, but she had brought some bun-sized hot dogs. And again, when it comes to burgers and dogs, so much of it depends on the roll. She had some nice, fresh rolls. I like a good potato roll. Nice and fluffy, super soft. And she had bought these bun-size hot dogs. And it just tasted so good for some reason. So then I was always on the hunt for the bun-size hot dogs. We ended up buying a package, like at BJ's, like a big one that had like 4 packs of hot dogs in it, and they're not bun-size, but this was like right when the quarantine was starting, and I was like, let's just get them. Let's just get them. I want to be safe. I want to have my hot dogs. So typically, we make both. If I had to choose one, there is no contest. It's always going to be a burger for me. Love my cheeseburgers. I love cheeseburgers out. I love cheeseburgers at home. I just love a cheeseburger. So, Megan says, that's a hard one. I love a good burger, but also love a hot dog, too. Veronica says, 59th Street Bubba Dog has whiz, potato sticks, bacon, and barbecue sauce. I might have to get that without the barbecue sauce. I think that sounds pretty yummy. Ashley says hot dogs, but more specifically, soggy dogs, soggy franks. They are delicious. Lori says cheeseburger with an occasional hot dog in the summer, but it has to be a Thuman's hot dog in the blue wrapper with mustard and sauerkraut. I've never heard of that. I always get ballpark franks, and I don't get the beef. I get the pork franks, which in my opinion are much more delicious. And honestly, when I serve hot dogs here at the house to company, they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best hot dog. I'm like, I know, because it's a real hot dog. It's not beef. Adele makes a good point. At home, I am more likely to cook up hot dogs, but when I'm eating out, it is definitely a burger. Yeah, I think the only place I may have ever gotten hot dogs out was at Friendly's, because they have that cool bun where they grill the bun on each side, which now they do that same type of bun for the lobster rolls that we get around here. And they are yummy for sure. There is a place down in North Wildwood we used to go to that got very, very famous because I believe they were on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives from the Food Network, Guy Fieri. I forget the name of it now. It was a hot dog place. But they had like the real like German type hot dogs, which I'm not really a fan of. It had something to do with dogs. That I know because they served their food in a dog bowl. But I can't remember the name of it. Joe, what's the name of it? I can't remember. I'm sorry. Mark says slaw dogs. Michelle says, I want a hot dog with mustard, onions, and cheese with a side of baked beans. Michelle coming right up. Another Michelle says, this is a tough one. I love me a hot dog with sauerkraut and lots of mustard. Melissa says, a burger unless I'm at the Phillies game. Gotta love a good old Phillies sewer dog. Doesn't sound good, does it? But they are. There's nothing like a hot dog at the ballpark. Carol Ann says, a hot dog with mustard, sauerkraut on a soft hot dog roll with a glass of chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk. I don't think I would pair it with a hot dog, though, especially with sauerkraut on it. So like I said, most people have chosen burgers, and I applaud you. That is the right choice. That is the good choice. Going to move on to the blog post for today. As we continue our conversation about fear, I wanted to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. I put up a cool picture of a nice little workspace. It's got a nice croissant, a nice coffee, a sun hat because you're going to be hitting the beach later in the day. There's a shell there. Obviously, we're working right by the beach. That's why the shell's there. Is this something that appeals to you? Is this something that you someday want to achieve? What is stopping you? I mean, what is it really that is stopping you? Could you be a little afraid of success? Most people's initial reaction to such a question is, of course I'm not afraid of success. But it's not as silly as it sounds. Some of this is deep-seated stuff, but we will stay on the surface as much as possible. But there is some belief you may have about yourself deep down inside that you aren't worthy of success or of having a lot of money. Is there possibly something going on unconsciously that is stopping you from pursuing all your dreams? It's really something to consider and delve into a little bit more. Are you afraid you maybe won't be able to handle success? Will the pressure be too much? Will it be too much responsibility, too much work? Are you afraid that you don't know what you are doing and people will figure it out? Do you feel like you will be busted and everyone will know you are a fraud? This is imposter syndrome, and it is way more common than you may think, especially for us ladies. I've seen stats in the past, and I find it to be true because when looking for a job, I often think I have to have 100% of the qualifications in order to even apply. Men, if they have 60% of the qualifications, they apply for the job. Why do we women think that we have to know absolutely everything in order to even just apply? It's kind of crazy. So a lot of the way we perceive ourselves goes back to our childhoods. Just try to think about what you've always believed about yourself and where that may have come from. Like, I never had a lot of self-confidence. I wasn't real sure about who I was and the type of person that I was, let alone the type of person that I wanted to be. I kind of had it instilled in me that you follow the path of society. You do what everybody else does. And then I realized that's not true. So realize that you probably have some wrong assumptions. And once you discover them, you can move past it. You are able to do anything you set your mind to, no matter what you think right now. Do you know how I know this? Because I did. I have overcome all kinds of self-destructive thoughts to convince myself I am capable of anything I set my mind to. I believe this with my whole entire heart. If there is something you truly want, you will make it happen, no matter how hard it may be. So if you need a cheerleader, you know where to find me. I'm a good cheerleader, but I know that you can do anything you want to achieve. You may not have all the answers right now, and you may not ever have all of them. It's doubtful you will, but you will learn as you go, and you will figure it out. You are worthy of every dream that has ever come into your thoughts. Why would the universe put it in your head if it wasn't possible? Other people aren't different from you. They just work harder than you do. But you can start working harder right now. You can start doing all the things you need to get you on your desired path right now. They also likely have a different mindset than you. They believe they can do hard things. They are confident in themselves and their ability to do what is needed to be done. You just need to get in the same headspace, and you can. Put some thought into what limiting beliefs may be holding you back. If there's something that is really scaring you, here is my advice. Just do it. Especially if it's something that you're just doing alone or by yourself. For example, I was scared to death to do my videos for the challenge that I'm doing right now, which I'm going to talk about in a second. I just, I sit here and I do this every day, but for some reason